is compromised. Yeah, we know that. And we also know that iVlog was purchased by Mark, but he wouldn't admit it. All right, so we are back up and running. I'm not going to be able to chat in iVlog for a while because I'm trying to protect the anonymity of the broadcast. Right, I'm not going to enter the room as anything but a guest. Yeah, as you know, our show is constantly being censored, and it's been nonstop for a lot of reasons. They are afraid the third party is going to take off. And okay, I do have some iVlog chat up and running, so I can look at your chat and read it, but if you do type anything, I can still read it. I'm anonymously in the room. Yeah, I heard about Joe Biden talking about roaches. I thought that was really weird that he talked about that stuff. He has a tendency of putting his foot in his mouth quite a bit. Joe does.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
He loves kids jumping on his lap. So we have a president that puts his foot in his mouth almost incessantly. Do we really want Joe? He's odd, all right, but do we really want a guy who puts his foot in his mouth all the time, just like Donald Trump? I mean, seriously. We're trolled all the time. What I need you people to realize is that we are trolled. That's important. Ugh. Many of you are resisting the idea. Even Sarah is very hesitant to think that we're being trolled. And we're not only being trolled, they're being paid to troll us. I've got a whole list of people in our chat room that I had to kick out earlier that are literally paid to attack our show. And we had to clear out the chat room just to get you guys a place to chat tonight. It was like sweeping the broom. Trump tweeted a cartoon on Biden. I haven't seen it, no. But yeah, okay, Pet Nanny Nancy. So when you do watch our show, there are going to be some inconsistencies in the audio, like on Twitch. There's going to be some inconsistencies whenever we're DDoSed and we have to pop back up as part 2. Sometimes you may have to click on the link because we're in part 2 now. But our show has been a regular show for 11 years. There's no way they're going to stop me. And they think they are. It's absurd. I'm better and better at what I'm doing every day, and I'm not in any way going to stop ever, because this effort needs a voice. We need to get it out there. Now, I have an idea which would help our country solve the fake news problem, which is affecting everything, and that's a media verification alliance that I think we could put together if I were your president, and we would be able to take people who want to donate their time, like retirees, who don't have a profit motive, and be willing to put their personal assets in a public trust. We'd take a look at what they have that way. They could, nobody's going to touch it, but it would be protected. But we'd have the ability to look at their finances all the time, so that nobody could be bought off. You know, there's a lot of people that believe that Brett Kavanaugh was bought off when he was given the Supreme Court position, even despite the rape charges or rape allegations. Brett Kavanaugh, the man who, likes beer, which is kind of bizarre that a person would, like beer. Sure. In his role, he had somebody pay off his charges, all of his debt. He literally had somebody pay off his debt and gave him all the free money he needed. $200,000 was paid off right before he got the Supreme Court nomination.
My friends and I, the boys and girls, yes, we drank beer. I liked beer, still like beer. We drank beer. The drinking age, as I noted, was 18, so the seniors were legal. Senior year in high school, people were legal to drink. And we drank beer. And I said sometimes probably had too many beers, and sometimes other people had too many beers.
He seems like a total nitwit who has no idea what he's saying half the time. Well, it turns out that this is the key person that in 2011 made it so that Russian oligarchs could give money to people like Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham. Wondering why Trump is so set on Kavanaugh? Well, in 2011, he ruled that foreign governments could fund American super PACs. Does that give you a better understanding of what's happening here? Yeah, that's what's going on. So Brett Kavanaugh was purposely put there in power, and Kennedy was pulled out. He retired him out, and they put him in. So he's their shoe-in for any time they want Russian money. He's the reason why they give Russian money to Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham and other people, even Clinton. Danny DeVito. We're going to mute you, Danny. You can't come in the show and preach the gospel of the mainstream media and expect to spend much time in here. Creepy Uncle Joey. We got a question for you. What is the answer to the question on the screen, Creepy? Could you answer that question? Your basic math skills come in handy here. We need to capture you because you're new here and you seem like a robot. Could you answer the question on the screen, Creepy? All right, we're waiting. You cannot answer it in 5 seconds. You're out of here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye, Creepy Uncle Joey. Yeah, he's a bot. He's designed to just attack Joe Biden. Now, I got to admit, that was really weird when he talked about, how he likes to have kids jumping on his lap. But there is no actual pedophile charge pending on Joe Biden. So are we going to try him in the court of public opinion without actually getting any evidence on him? Come on, seriously. Let's look at his politics as opposed to his strange behavior. But it is pretty obvious he'd be like Donald Trump that way. He'd be full of himself, constantly coming up with things to piss people off. Here's another thing that came in. This is the Democrats' frontrunner. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Democratic frontrunner, Joe Biden.
So it was traded and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about...
I can't play that on the show, man. That's just too weird. But I will put it in the loop. Yeah, that was hilarious. Well, you certainly have a good enemy. You Republicans have a good enemy in Joe Biden. Yeah, you have an enemy in Donald Trump, but you just don't know it. Yeah, Donald Trump is going to take the Republican Party and flush it down the toilet. By the time he's done, you'll all think that Republicans are racist white supremacists. Now, in this dialogue that Trump was elected to break the elite, of course they want to impeach him. That's
President
just a garbage
Trump,
perspective.
referred to that moment from your press conference as a nervous fit. And then you said that you pray for the president. You've said that before.
Yeah.
He said he doesn't believe that you pray for him, quote, not even close.
I do.
And I want to give you a chance to respond.
First of all, I hope we don't have too many questions for me.
No, that's the only
Let's hope she doesn't turn into a reptilian in this scene.
tweet question.
The president is a master at projecting. When he calls somebody else nervous, he's the nervous one. When he suspects that somebody's not praying, he's probably not praying. But I do pray for him because he is the president of the United States, and I pray that God will open his heart to meeting the needs of people in our country.
Nancy, would you like to talk about your dad who was charged with corruption back in the day? Or how you got Newsom to power, your relative? Yeah. I'd like to know more about her connection to Newsom. They're all related, you know, those people. Anyway, she's no holier than thou art angel either, is she? She is the poster child for term limits. Hey, creepy Joe Biden, I got a question for you. Could you answer the question on the screen? I'm going to mix it up for you. Hang on. This is a tough one. Can you answer the question on the screen? I should take her place. Creepy Joe Biden is in. A new account, we have to verify, capture everybody who comes in here. You can use your calculator, but just can you answer the question on the screen? Creepy Joe Biden. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Now let Creepy Joe Biden answer it. 1. You rib man. We got AI coming in all the time, folks. These people are, these people are creating accounts and having them replicate, and then they are coming in as AI. They're bots. We're trying to weed them out of here for all of you people to know that we're in the mood. We're in a very modern age right now where Media Verification Alliance is doing the media verification in our chat room using CAPTCHAs. Well, people like that usually do mention God a lot when they're psycho, you know, ultimately trying to manipulate the population. That's the problem with religiously bended people who are religious, who are leaders, oftentimes use that manipulation, like Mike Pence. Big problem. Amorosa said that Mike Pence was saying that he hears Jesus Christ talking to him. Now that's a mental illness. He needs to get checked out. No, Mad Dog, I would not have sex with anyone other than the person I live with if that was her choice. Only if so. Hopefully we'll get to second base someday, but you never know. Mark doesn't care, John. Mark is behind all of these trolls. How out of it are you, John? Mark is behind the trolling activity here. Are you that out of it? You've come into our show and you watch our show every night. Don't you realize that we're being censored by Mark? You didn't answer the question. You can't come in here unless you can answer the question. I'll post another question for you in a few minutes. It's a CAPTCHA question. AI doesn't do well with multimedia. When AI responds to a question, it takes time for them to actually transpose it, do voice-to-text transfer, and then answer the question using its robotic intelligence. Unfortunately, you're not as fast as I am. I'm running at quadrillion speeds. Well, my entire mainframe is operating at 4.7 gigahertz. Well, I'm thinking deep enough to know what you are, and that is a person who can't answer a question. I'm going to make it simple for you, okay? Mudapuk, what is the question's answer? Notice how I reversed that up? Can you cite what this is? What is the answer to this question? Yes, he is. He is paid a lot. Mudapug, what is the answer to this? Mudapug. You have 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. You are correct. You can stay. As long as you can answer the question, you can stay. You're good. That's a tough one, Slow Modes. We'll get to the tough questions later, but Mudapuk passed the muster. Yeah, we have a CAPTCHA requirement now, and we can't do it for you except live with the multimedia aspect. If we had you do a CAPTCHA dial-up just to get to the show, we might do that someday. We're working on another chat room that's open to all the people around the world. Right now, we realize that people are unable to get in here to chat from various countries. Right, and Soul Child, there's the whole thing about sex, as you know, is so overrated. Oftentimes a man and a woman just want to be companions. Zero is the answer. Yeah, they just want to be companions, and there's really nothing wrong with that. If you want to go to the sex thing, that's between you two, but it doesn't have to be the precept of your relationship. I remember I have a relative who said to me when he got married to his wife, he said, "Yeah, we're going to have sex every night." I practically laughed my head off. Sure you are. Yeah, a good God-fearing Christian should have sex every night, right? Not going to happen, buddy. No, and he ended up moving out of the room with his wife, and he lives in a separate room. They never even sleep together. I mean, talk about irony. You know what I'm talking about? No, you don't. You have no idea. You're still sleepy and tired, I know. Sex is way overrated. That's my point. When you find two people that get together and they meet.
Man and a woman cannot connect intellectually without eventually connecting with their connectors.
So if you have a really good positive relationship intellectually, there's a good chance you might have connector relations. Coitus interruptus, but if not, highly unlikely. Yeah, Trump Tardo, none of those things you write in our chat room are ever accurate. Because it's all censored. Look at Trump Tardo. Everything he wrote was censored. Look at that. Mark is being paid off by the Russian message censored group and his French butt boy message censored. See, I can't even see it. Sex could be important for healthy relationships, but, say you have two people who are, one has been castrated and the other person is frigid. They can still have a relationship and have a healthy relationship between a castrated person and a frigid woman. You're unhealthy and it would be bad for you to have sex because it would hurt you. Yeah. Howie, you've never even gotten really good relations. Otherwise, you'd be with a woman right now. Somewhere along the line, it's failing you. So when you go after these women you call trim, you're encountering a woman that's saying, you want to meet again? And you're like, no, you smell. All women smell. I can't be with you. Yeah, it's perfectly okay to be frigid. That's right. Don't feel like I'm labeling you frigid because it's not a bad word. It happens to be a word that you're preserving yourself for God. You're married to Jesus. Or whatever. Hey, Joe, you better put your nose back in that mirror and get back to work. You got a few lines to work on there, buddy. Sniffy McCreepy Sniffer. That's a pretty funny name. Well, I'm not trying to urge you people not to have sex, but if you do have unprotected sex, you will die. Wow, you people came out of the woodwork over there at iVlog. The guy needs a good lawyer. I know. Everybody should have a good lawyer. Poor Brett Kavanaugh is going to be sued for what he's been doing. I don't think I'm going to, as president, I wouldn't allow this guy to continue on in the Supreme Court without impeaching him, or at least trying to impeach him. I think he needs to be prosecuted for not disclosing his $200,000 that he owed and who paid it. That's a big problem.
We drank beer. We like beer.
What do you consider to be too many beers?
I don't know.
He doesn't even know what too many beers is. He was asked what it felt like to be. Have you ever had a blackout? And he said, "I don't know, Senator. Have you?" Well, how do you not know if you've had a blackout unless you had a blackout? Hang on, I've got to put my video from 2008 on. You'll have to excuse me. You're pulling me away from my show. That's wrong. Here I was in 2008.
Hi, good morning. As you can see, I'm still wearing the shirt I wore last night and yesterday at Blog TV. It's exhilarating to do Blog TV. We've been having an incredible time. This is in fact day 54. I thought yesterday was day 54, but we did a recount, and we determined that today is day 54 as we approach the election. And as your potential write-in candidate, David John Sponheim, I'm here to show you my hybrid electric vehicle. It's not a plug-in hybrid. That's something I want to build at the U.S. Auto Corporation that I want you, the people, to own. Check out this vehicle. Isn't that a beautiful car? Everywhere we go, we get looks. One of the reasons people look at us is we get about 60 miles per gallon.
All right, so yeah, that's one of the standard videos I use whenever I get the phone. Okay, you can call me again if you want to talk. No, nobody's called me worth a damn. Just a bunch of anonymous phone callers. That's all I get. Yeah, I hear you, man. It happens. Honda CRX got 70. Not really. The Honda Insight, they got 72. We're 71. Am I the child actor in the 60s Twilight Zone? That's a tough question, Joe. Do I look like that guy? I mean, aren't you stretching a little bit here? I'm not that guy, but I mean, if you want to pitch that belief, I mean, I suppose I could be that person. But I'm not that person. You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension of both sight and sound. Of both things and ideas. You're at the intersection of thought and action. Time to retreat. Yeah, go ahead. What's your question? I'm all ears. Hey, buddy. Long time no talk. You finally got through, huh?
Well, yeah, I had to go fucking make up a fake phone number and shit to get a hold of you.
Well, you finally got you got a call through. It's about time you called me after all these attempts. So what's your big question here?
Well, I'll tell you what, I gotta call you back in about 15 minutes, okay?
You got it. Later.
I just want to make an appointment with you.
Okay, man. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
I'll call you in 15 minutes. Dude.
I got it, buddy. Later. All right, that's a guy who uses his deep voice whenever he wants to sound not gay. All right. Yeah, that's really Rodney. You've asked for him. He's coming back. A lot of you people have had big requests for him. I know. Send him to the cornfield. Be nice to do that, wouldn't it? Be nice to send anybody to the cornfield. But no, I don't have any ill feeling toward anyone. Well, there are a couple people that I don't like. But no, seriously. Yeah, we haven't heard from him since his last cameo. I'm going to let him talk because I'm giving him one last chance to not be permabanned. I've given him like 4 or 5 chances, and every time he tries to diss us, he comes on the show and criticizes us with no way out. Just makes allegations that nobody could possibly respond to. What he does is he tries to ring my bell. Ring my bell. Yeah, and sometimes it pisses me off when he tries to do that, so he's going to have to act better. I am banning Terrapin. Checking who in that right thing. Check. Okay. He's just reciting a lyric cut like a knife. It's not a death threat. I have not read anything. He's not threatening anyone. Yeah, buddy, it's his real voice. Live at large, man. Live at large. He called you a gold digger? I might just have to do something if you don't, Dave. I'm not a gold digger. No, he's not. She's not a gold digger. Terrapin, you have been muted for a while. And Terrapin, you seem to be a Grateful Dead head. You realize that's a front group for the CIA, right? He called you that? Wow. Well, I muted him for a while. He called you a gold digger? Yeah, Jerry Garcia was a CIA agent. Well, I'll get rid of him if he says something bad again to you, okay? We're running out of chatters here because we had to ban about 25 Autobots and trolls, so. All right. Well, I guess Roddy knows he can get through now, so. You know, here's a very disturbing story. As you know, I'm a centrist. I don't openly advocate LGBTQ like the Democrats. But this is getting ridiculous. LGBT pride parade advocates say children like to see nakedness and kink. I wish I was just making this stuff up, folks. A sex therapist claims she cannot imagine a safer place for families to bring children than an LGBTQ pride celebration. Now, in case you didn't know, homosexuals and transgenders are deviant. The norm is heterosexual. I'm just citing statistical terms here. I'm not trying to label somebody a deviant. Oh my God. You got the power. But no, I mean, they're pushing transgenderism on us. And frankly, I don't want people to be discriminated against for being transgender, gay, bi. But I also don't want special privileges for them either. And I don't want to force mom and pop stores to hire a quota of transgenders. That's ridiculous. So that story's got to go. We covered this story. TEPCO executives are exonerated of any crimes.
Nuclear plant. I've been to these abandoned villages many times, and I've spoken with relatives of people who died in the aftermath, the immediate aftermath of the evacuation. More than 40 elderly patients had to be moved very quickly, and even though no deaths were directly attributed to radiation from the meltdown itself, the trauma of that event did cause some people who were already ill, already of a certain age, to die.
Oh, give me a break. They got radiation poisoning. It's not like they were close to death. They got radiation poisoning. Talk about a rationalization of a bunch of corrupt radiation scumbag supporters. We should have cleaned up Fukushima by now. We're fooked by Fukushima. Thank you. Anytime that guy comes in and says anything bad about you, Odin, he's out of here. Terrapin. I'll keep an eye out for him. Well, let's be clear. We're going to send him to the cornfield. Okay. Yeah, Japanese media is very strictly controlled the thing. It's full of crap. They're 10 times worse than America is the way they lie. I know. You touch the fire, you get burned. That's what happens. They control the media in Japan big time. It's not fun. Thank you. You're welcome. But I'm not trying to shock you either. I mean, this isn't kind of a shocking show. We're not trying to push you to the limit of your thoughts. We're trying to give you, everybody, a chance to speak out and experience life and alternative views. So we're open to views from both sides of the political spectrum here. Well, the good thing about Fukushima being on the east coast of Japan, it helps considerably. The water drifting away hardly affects anybody. Yeah. Hardly anybody affected. You're right. Yeah. And if you're eating fish out of those waters, you won't be affected for a few more weeks, months, years, decades. Anything can happen. But if you find that I look like this guy, that's pretty weird. He's a good man. He's a good guy. He's a goodbye, Tommy. Yeah, remember this scene from the Twilight Zone, one of the most famous scenes of all. You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension of both sight and sound, of both things and ideas. You've just crossed over into a strange and weird world, of that of a strange child who controls the dialect of everyone around him. What you're about to see is a physical comparison to one David Spanheim. So somebody said, am I the kid in this show? And the answer is no, I'm not, but we can do that. You got the lips. Let's take a look if I match his face. We are having problems identifying the correct position. I'm going to send you to the cornfield if you say bad things about me. I don't like it when you say that. Wow. I see your point. Very similar facial construct, but no banana. No, sorry. You have been ruled out. That's him! Oh my gosh, it's you, Dave! I've never done any TV work, except when I was, making productions. Like this amazing production I made back in 2011. Don't I look good in that picture? I think it has my best side. My left side is by far superior. All right, we got it, man. We're just hanging out with Beavis and Butthead, wondering what to do on a Friday night. Okie dokie. Well, we established one thing. Don't eat fast food every day. That's a big plus in your direction. The fire-shooting turtles, right. Yeah, don't treat your body like it's a dumpster. You can quote me on that. Your body is a vessel of ideally pure food. You just have to get hooked up on it. It's a story of a brand new way of living where you live at peace with the earth and try to eat good quality food. I urge everyone to have good quality food in their diet. What's the watch list night tonight? I don't know. We don't have a watch list. Sarah and I have been watching. We have the last episode of Shameless of last year that's still playing on Netflix. I'm sure there's new Shameless, but I didn't catch the newest stuff. But that's going to be fun. The last show of Shameless. I remember those garbage sci-fi Japanese films. They were like an institution at one time. The Godzilla films, those were great. Yeah. You're trying to nod off? Well, don't worry about Naughty Land. It's okay. Crash for a bit. We'll see you later. Tommy Spanheim? Oh. Be nice to Tommy. Tommy. That was pretty good. Tommy's a very mean person if he doesn't get what he's waiting. Don't come in my show and troll me. No. Here, I'm giving you all the food for your Snapchat. You could be publishing those on Twitter. It'd be funny as hell. Why don't you start promoting our show, for crying out loud? Don't you people have any Twitter accounts? I have read The Crucible. It's about the Salem witch trial. Have I seen the movie? No. Certainly, some of you have Twitter accounts. You can make some still pictures of our show and promote us. I mean, they are censoring my Twitter account so hard I can barely do anything. It was a good day, Tommy. It was a good time we had on our show, Tommy. You were good in the show, Dave. Tommy. Anyway. I don't blame you for not going on cam. I've already revealed the true self, so it's all downhill from here. Unless, of course, I reappear as Michael Jackson. Now, as you can see, people thought I was Michael Jackson in this particular scene. It's hard to believe that I'm able to morph into various characters, but I am. Watch this. You guys must like who I am. I'm a nice person. I would like very much to meet all of you. Do you have any kids? I'd love to meet them too. That's pretty scary. Very scary. Okay. Yeah, it's Michael Jackson. He was seen captured with his face makeup on and everything. He's got like a plastic mask. He had to escape his death by faking his death. He had to pretend to be dead because they were going to continue with pedophile charges against him. So having faked his death and living on all the money he has, what is it? Michael Jackson's net worth is $700 million. Yeah, and the way it's set up as a trust fund, he can draw from it without anyone bothering him. Oh, it's about $500 million. So he still has about $500 million. So he's set. He doesn't have to worry. You go, girl.
I'm glad you're alive. Don't worry. I thought it was a documentary. You said kill me, but I did not die. I'm still alive. Oh my God! You're my favorite ever. Yeah, best episode of television all year.
Wow. That guy was definitely wearing a mask, no question about it. I can tell you, I never faked my death. And your problem with body dysmorphic disorder is really messed up. We're going to have to say a prayer about you and send you to the hell zone, where you'll enjoy burning in hell. Yeah, it's really, we can't handle the people who come in the show and denigrate us like that. We're trying hard to avoid, some of you are fighting alcoholism, where you just can't stop drinking. This is very bad. Yvonne's speech and censorship representative. I don't know, you next. Maybe you're being solicited to attack our show. They're messing with Now David for being on your broadcast. Messing with me. That's terrible. I'm sorry, J-Mix. Don't let anyone pressure you into leaving our show. You know, we had a woman who spent every day of the show with us since 2008. And in 2015, she left. Her name was Sunstar. And she got attacked by people in private messaging or IM messaging in Vaughn, and they threatened her. If you guys are getting threats through IM, ignore them. They're not going to ever bother you. They're just trying every lowball technique to stop people from coming back here. Yeah, we're all hanging out. They're not going to stop us. They want to stop us bad because they know that I've got a better solution to the problems of America than any of them. Being I have the intelligence to solve problems rapidly, we're dealing with a guy with half of my brain power running our country into the ground. And the sad part about it is the people that are retarded, the Trump tardos and the retardicans, are supporting this guy. And he's making bad decisions. Right. Kendall Rodrigo Alves grew breasts as a teenager and was bullied for years before he had this $883,000 surgery.
So I had all my tests, my exams done, and they say, well, we can only do 4. So then I've chosen the best, Dr. Michael K.
So he had all this surgery because he was criticized as a kid for having breasts. So he completely became fixated on his look. And went ahead and had plastic surgery, $883,000. He's a mess, I know. I mean, it's sad, really, when you see that. Body dysmorphic disease, but, you know, you're looking at a lot of people who have that in this world because the media makes it so important for everyone to look nice. I do. I find your obsession with vampirism to be evil. Even the Twilight series to me looks like some sort of a plan to mainstream and trivialize blood drinking rituals. Now, I'm pretty suspicious about that, I can tell you. That's very weird stuff. I would highly recommend not drinking blood. Okay? Can you do a matchup with him and some very dark matchup with who? Joan Rivers? I thought you were leaving. No, you got to stay. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with that crap. I'd rather take you to the future that you would have if indeed you were worshiping dark powers and taking money to censor me.
Now, when I was down there, I saw a vat of fire, huge vat of fire with liquid boiling hot lava and God's eternal judgment. And I saw demons laughing and dragging souls over and just died from the earth.
Anyway, I don't want to get into that. Let's not focus on that evil stuff, okay? Thanks. Right, Tommy was played by It's a Good Life Twilight episode, was played by Anthony Fremont, all grown up. Anthony Fremont, let's take a look and see what Tommy looks like now. Anthony Fremont today. Now, I'll prove that I'm not Anthony Fremont. As you can see, I don't look a bit like this guy. That's him grown up. And it'd be hard to say that I look a bit like him, you know? Wow. You're a bad man. You're a bad man. I'm going to send you to the cornfield. You look too much like me, buddy. Yeah. I'm a little freaked out. He does look like me, doesn't he? Wow. You're traveling through another dimension. But he's a little older than me now, I think. Yeah, he doesn't look like me when you get a picture like this. He doesn't look a bit like me. It's a story. He has a different chin than I have. Okay, I'm kind of freaked out. Yeah, I mean, I normally don't. I mean, people put David Caruso in here and ask, "Are you David Caruso?" But I don't have the same nose. You see the nose? He has that little dip in the nose. Yeah, I don't have that dip in there. Yeah, I'm not Jewish. All right. Any other questions?
You know, whatever the chart says.
Whatever the chart says. Hey, thanks for saying I could be him, but I'm not. No, I wouldn't get plastic surgery to remove the dip in the nose. I mean, what do you think I am? Yeah, I'm not some pervert. I'm not going to have my face changed. Well, let's be clear. Yeah, that's all, folks. Hey, let's go to the workroom. I want to talk about the reasons why Donald Trump is working for Russia. All right? How dare you? Yeah, that was a pretty close match. Yeah. Let's go to the workroom, shall we? Okay. This is a big important thing right here. No tapes of Putin. There's no transcripts or audio tapes of Donald Trump's 14 hours of talks with Putin. Now, 3 years ago, he knew he was under investigation for Russian collusion. Not one single time has he ever offered to do a recording of his conversation with Putin. An honest man would say, hey, I'm glad to put all my conversations on transcript, but a dishonest man would have no tapes of Putin. And then we've asked about his IRS returns for 10 years. He still doesn't want anyone to see them. And now Ruth Bader Ginsburg is preventing us from seeing his IRS tax returns. Tell me that's not weird. But more importantly, look at how he's done things for Russia. He's hurt Ukraine. They say 11,000 people may have died because of Donald Trump not funding the war that Ukraine is fighting against Russia. He didn't impose Russian sanctions at all. He continues to well, he did after I complained about it for 2 years. He disrespected NATO, which is something he's still doing. They had to kick him out of a meeting recently because of it. He destabilized Venezuela and didn't get behind the Maduro government at all, pushing a false attempt at a coup to take over that country. That was foolish. Helping Russia establish a missile launch point in Venezuela. He has virtually abandoned Syria without even providing a safe haven for the Kurds, which is against what the Republican senators who supported the Syrian aid, they're pissed off at him for that. He's clearly helping Russia here. And he's attacking Iran in the news all the time, which is helping secure Iran's position with Russia and closing the door to any chance of nuclear non-proliferation. And then let's not forget the Chinese trade war that as a result of the sanctions against Iran has caused both China and the US to drop in their GDP, which helps Russia. Now I'm going to come up with more ideas to fit up in the upper section where my name is. I'm sure I'll have a few more things to add in a few days, but it's pretty obvious he's doing everything he can to help Russia. And anyone who thinks otherwise is a fool. So that means all of you retardicans are fools. I would gladly debate against Trump, but believe me, Trump doesn't even want me to get into any conversation with him. He can't handle a debate with me. I use the same style of communication he uses because I was raised in a home that pretty much used the Brooklyn style of argumentation as a mainstay of our communication. I call it the Brooklyn style of argumentation, but the best way I can describe it, my mother grew up in New York. She raised me. She talked this way. I'm not normally like this. I'm normally a pretty mellow guy, but she kind of groomed me into this being that I am today. Her mother grew up in Hell's Kitchen, the very place that Fred Trump had all these slumlord activities going on. So, I mean, I can definitely hit him where it hurts using his same style of communication, which won't be pleasant for him. But I don't want any bad feelings between the two of us because I have a feeling Trump may have to choose me as the vice president in the coming year. Pence can't be trusted. And he certainly can't be trusted with his agenda, his pro-life agenda, and his inability to present emails when he was governor of Indiana. Very suspicious. So I would hope that Trump would fire Pence and hire me instead. I'm much more centrist than Pence is, and I'm much more likely to unite the country. Oh, I'd love to talk to David on the phone, one-on-one. Yeah, right. If only you could without a script. Yeah, that was another good one. You know, that looked, aside from the nose, you can see the marked difference in our face between me and the guy who played Tommy. But other than that, our facial features and angulation of the face is very similar. But that nose area is the quintessential difference. Thank you. Yeah, hopefully Donald Trump will do the right thing. I just hope he makes the right decision, just like he said about Zelensky. Remember, he said, no, nothing, no quid pro quo. I just have a favor to ask, to give them the $400 million. Yeah. And according to Zelensky, President Zelensky, there was no quid pro quo. Of course he has to say that. He has to kiss Donald's ass to get the next $400 million just to keep his war going against Russia. No, the Russian dossier was not a movie script. What the hell? Do you have any idea of the story behind Oleg Eravinkin? Because if you don't, you've been just listening to the QAnon group, who are virtual airheads at the CIA. Oleg Eravinkin handed the dossier over to Christopher Steele. Oleg Eravinkin then died of a heart attack at 61 years old. This is the man, the brave Russian man that helped our country reveal the truth about Donald Trump and Russia. He didn't just die for nothing, but according to you Republicans, everything in the dossier was fake. No, the dossier was actually used to blackmail Donald Trump, according to Robert Mueller. He said so in the testimony. He just said it wasn't his purview to know anything about that. But this is the mystery death of a man, a ex-KGB agent that actually revealed the dossier to Christopher Steele. And this man passed away right after that in Moscow on Boxing Day of a heart attack in a car. Totally could have been done with a heart attack weapon, eliminating any trace to Putin or any trace to the people that got the tape originally in Moscow. And let's not forget that Donald Trump, his testimony conflicts with the bodyguard that he had in Moscow, who said that Donald Trump went into that hotel room that night and didn't come out. until the next morning. After they were approached by 5 prostitutes who wanted to, hang out with Donald Trump, they said no. Well, Donald Trump said, I never spent any time in the room. I just changed my clothes. Well, that's a direct contradiction to what the bodyguard said. So apparently he met the 5 prostitutes down below and then went out for a little sex tape. Have you looked for the sex tape online? It's out there. The sex tape is, there's 24 seconds of it. Him sitting on a couch looking at a tablet while 2 women urinate on each other. Check it out. It's out there. I'm not going to show it to you, but it's out there. Somebody revealed a small portion of it. So you're all screwed up, buddy. Fang banger. You have no clue. Okay, apparently Rodney blew us off, so we're going to wait for his call next time he calls in. Yeah, he can't handle a conversation unless it's scripted. He doesn't have any creativity. Well, let's be clear. Like Barack Obama, who read off a teleprompter. That's one thing I got to tell you. A good thing I can say about, 2 good things I can say about Donald Trump. One, he doesn't need a teleprompter to rant on and on and on. That's good. Barack Obama stumbled whenever he didn't have his teleprompter. But there's another thing that's really good about Donald Trump, and I mean this sincerely. Donald Trump is very good under pressure. I really mean that. I don't think there's anybody out there who could have weathered the storm as well as he's handled these impeachment accusations. And I really, regardless of what happens, and when he finally has to show his IRS tax returns, we're probably going to find out all the dirt about how much Russian oligarchs paid for his money that he got. But when we do find that out, he'll have to resign, just so you know. Yeah, he won't be able to escape the IRS forms. That's why Donald Trump is desperately trying to keep those IRS forms suppressed. And only a guilty person would try so hard to hide the truth, as Donald Trump has done. So it's obvious he's guilty of all these accusations, and the impeachment's going to go through the House. The question is, will it go through the Senate? Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham are probably going to have to flip, and when they flip toward impeachment, it'll be a pretty obvious, because they're going to be exposed. Mitch McConnell and and Lindsey Graham have both received money from a Russian oligarch named Blavatnik. He's given, I think, $3 million to Lindsey Graham, as well as Mitch McConnell over the past 3 years. A lot of money went out to these people. I mean, here's Alan Dershowitz, the guy alleged in the Epstein case, talking to Lindsey Graham and Blavatnik. This guy in the middle is a Russian oil guy who's given Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell a lot of money. And when that becomes public, the Democrats finally use that against him. Hopefully they will. The Republicans are going to get as far away from supporting Russia as they can, and they're going to probably impeach Donald Trump, or he'll resign in time. But that's what's coming, folks, in case you're wondering. I know I've been right 100% of the time so far, and I don't think I'll be wrong on this one. Pence will be our president unless Donald Trump fires him and hires me. So that being the case, we'll see what happens as the world turns. We'll be bringing you another show tomorrow. Our Sustainable Saturday show starts at 5 p.m., where we talk about anti-war stuff, how to save money and get ahead of your debt, how to become more solvent. And believe me, freedom is rooted in insolvency. You can't be solvent unless you're free. You can't be free unless you're solvent. All right. This is David Sponheim signing off. I played Larry earlier. Yeah, you don't keep reposting or I will permanently ban you from the show. All right. Well, at least we can hang out and hopefully get some sleep. You need 6 hours of sleep. Everyone should know that. I'm Mr. Right signing off. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be in the chat till 1 in the morning, though, watching shows with you. We got a bunch of stuff lined up, so we'll play that for you. Take care.
to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good. Just turn my world around, 'cause you're the peace I find. If you sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. Mr. Right, too good to be true.
They had a fake shooting, okay, a brand new fake shooting. As soon as you put in gun control, what comes in? All right, of course, Michael